So I saw a train. It was on rails the other day.
Oh, look at
Uh,
Anne with the
she-
segue. Look at that.
that's
Oh
good.
my
Yeah.
gosh. See this is why this is why you have your own podcast now. This is
Mm,
because
Yeah,
you're at this
yeah.
level.
the Ann Thomas Comedy Hour. We should have that.
How do you find Claude expertise in a language that you actually know versus one you don't know?
Well, it's an interesting point because when you were making fun of Rails just a minute ago, I was about to throw you an olive branch and say, well, actually, I find as much as I prefer Ruby and I enjoy Rails, that with AI tooling, I feel like languages are almost becoming a commodity. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Liquid Weekly podcast. I am your host, Karl Meisterheim. And with me, as always, my esteemed colleague from up north, Taylor Page. Taylor, good morning.
Good morning, Carl. I like that I still got the up north suggestion considering our guest today. So, but
Well,
you'll have a better segue. So,
that was the segue because,
oh
if you want to go
no.
even further up north, all the way close to the Arctic Circle, I think, right, is Ann Thomas is joining us today. Ann is the co-founder of Design Packs, a Shopify app, which is a complete design system for your store. She's been working professionally as a web developer since 2008, and she is so incredible, so smart, and so fun to have on the show. Welcome back, Ann.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be back. Yay.
Yay.
So it's been a little while since we talked, and I realize that our two listeners might not all have listened to the same episode. So if you could, just in a nutshell, give us a little bit of background about who is Ann, how did you get involved in Shopify, and why on earth did you agree to talk to us today? In any order.
Well, yeah, the first order is I will always come on your podcast because it's amazing, and you are the OG podcasters in the Shopify world. So, and the longest running and probably the most amount of episodes, I would think at this point. Someone could prove me wrong if that's not the case, but take it. Yeah.
I mean, we'll
We'll take
take
it.
So,
it.
Thank you.
If Anne said it, it
yeah,
must be true. So,
yeah. Yeah, how long have I been working at Shopify? Oh gosh. I I think I built my first custom theme. Wow, a custom theme. It was off of Timber. Let's be honest. I was using Timber as the framework around about 2014, and then I joined out of the Sandbox, which is a theme company, in 2016. But and then I've kind of just focused really in on the Shopify ecosystem ever since. My first love is front-end development and content management systems, although I've been dabbling slightly more in back-end with the helpful support of AI. But yeah, and so did themes. I've done audits for stores, which was quite fun for a bit. And then, yeah, in 2021 we released design packs with my co-founder Trudy, and been doing that ever since. Yeah, been 5 years. Can you believe that?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
now you and AI have been dabbling in back end work. What's been the tech stack of choice there? Are you just kind of like
Any
winging it on a
suggestion?
prayer, or I'm
Yeah,
curious
so
because I know Trudy
Supabase.
is also a Rails fan, so I'm
Oh, I'm
curious
not
as
a Rails
to.
fan. Sorry.
Well,
Sorry,
thanks for
not sorry,
joining
Karl.
us, listening to another episode of the podcast. We'll see you all next one.
No, no, no. I'm using Supabase. Let's see, for
Hey, I
Cell.
love Supabase. I feel like anytime anything backend related, it's like, let's use Supabase. I'm like, okay, like
I
cool.
like the name. It's
And maybe
fantastic.
it is pretty
Yeah,
slick. It is pretty
yeah,
slick.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've
So
I've kind of
Supabase.
been, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Supabase. So I've sort of been building. Well, let's get this out of the way. So I'm a horse girl. So I ride horses. So I've been building an app that will help with tracking in the same way that, runners and other fitness people track their workouts. I've been building something like that for riding. But again, it's very early days, and I've just been following, like I'm using Claude, and the combination of the like regular tutorial, and then also implementation, with Claude Code. So it's been really good. I'm trying to like actually learn as I go along as well, but um, yeah, so that's been what I've been dabbling with on the side.
So speaking of horses, you subscribe shows as a horse girl. What's your
Yeah.
opinion on people that like to run like horses when they use their hands and their feet? That's a thing, right? Is that?
Okay. Well, there's oh man, we're gonna So there are actually have you seen the videos where people are riding like hobby horses? So you know the little things that
Uh-huh.
kids have, like a hobby horse where it's like a stick and then there's a stuffed horse head on top. So there's
What?
we
It's
All
may
good.
need
right.
It's a
we're putting this in the show notes. I'll send you a YouTube video where picture a gymnasium and then in the same way you have like agility courses for dogs, it's people running around with hobby horses pretending that they're riding and then they're jumping over, which very high jumps. Like I couldn't jump over these jumps. They're very athletic. So that's a whole sport, hobby horsing.
I mean, if college students are gonna play Quidditch or run around with brooms between their knees, then I think you can do the hobby
It's,
horse thing too.
I feel like there's got to be a Venn diagram overlap there of people that.
That is,
Peak
I shouldn't be
society, people.
surprised. I one time on ESPN, I stumbled across like a rock paper scissors tournament, like on ESPN, on TV, like so like for a grand prize, like a big like 10K, 20K prize or something for the grand winner or whatever. I was like, what? This is so this should not surprise me at all. But I've never heard of this, so this sounds interesting. I will be looking this up, or if you've got this, yeah, we'll include it in the show notes for sure.
Hey, hates rails, loves hobby horse competitions.
No, I told you I can't jump that high. It's too athletic for me.
Well, speaking of
Nah.
jump, sorry to derail us. Oh, go ahead, Taylor.
Oh, I was gonna say, so for the app work, is it
Yeah.
Shopify too, or are we dabbling outside
No,
the Shopify space?
dabbling outside the
Oh,
Shopify space.
okay,
Yeah,
There's
I
okay,
there's
know.
okay.
outside Shopify.
I
Yeah,
know. It's
wild,
a
right?
dark, scary world. I heard you have to market your own SaaS app a lot more. I don't know. Haven't again, there's nothing to market at the moment, but yeah.
It's
I
still
love I
it's
do
mhm,
I was just say I do love the comfort of the Shopify ecosystem. It's very
yeah,
nice.
but it has been fun to say as someone who's primarily front end, knows a little bit of back end, using AI to just build stuff out, even like internal tools. That's
Hmm.
what I've been doing the past couple of weeks with a lot of stuff, just replacing little things that I wish this would work better, like time trackers and stuff like this or whatever for like project work or like different things. That's been a lot of fun to do as well. So I think that's one of the fun things about AI. At least we have to be ultra productive all the time, but also we can actually spend time exploring different spaces that we're not as familiar with to build little things that are just fun.
And you can make it really branded too. Like we
Mhm.
had for one of our sections in design packs, it was a map and or is a map, not was. And you have to have the longitude, right, for the location. Just because it was like, to have to look up the address and whatever. So we were linking externally to, a site that somebody had where you could put in an address and get the lat and long. And I just had this thought one day, I'm like, oh, if that site ever goes down, or if they change it, or it becomes malware or not, whatever. So yeah, I just quickly spun up this little lat longitude, generator thing. And now it lives on design packs and we can link to our own internal site instead of somebody else's site. So stuff like that.
Very
It's just
cool. That's
great.
awesome. Yeah.
Nice. Well, speaking of the app and things you've been creating, you've also been doing something new. It's been a couple months now, but you have launched your very own podcast. Tell us a little about
Yes.
that.
Yes, so this was the brainchild of myself, Trudy McNabb, who's the co-founder of Design Packs. You know,
Rails fan.
yes, Rails fan. Brenda Storer, who has the awesome theme Whisk, and Diana Birsan, who is the CEO of Highpound. So, and they have an awesome app called DownPay. And so, yeah, we basically, I will say, full disclosure, it was one of those things where we would get together and we would be on these Zoom calls and we would just be chatting about, Shopify gossip and, oh, have you seen this and what have you? And I'm like, why don't, we just started thinking like, why don't we just make this into a podcast? Again, you have 2 listeners, we have 1. I know, or 0, I don't know, but
Could be the same one.
You have at
could
least
be,
2.
could be.
Karl and I. There you go.
That's true.
Bam.
So, but yeah, it's been really enjoyable, and we finally we now have a website as well. So,
I
hooray!
saw that today. It looks so good. I was like, oh
Yeah.
man, I gotta up
I
our
didn't
game.
see the website. Where
Yeah,
is that?
Cart
Apparently
2 with
behind.
the number 2 Cart podcast. I guess I should say the name of the
Did you make
podcast.
the
It's called
site?
Cart to Cart. No, Brenda did, but she used design packs.
Yeah,
What?
she did.
It looks so much better than mine. I use design
Which
packs.
the thing I like about that, you know what that means? It's
That just means I'm a
Shopify.
bad designer.
It just means you got to get Brenda. Just hire Brenda.
I
Yes,
should.
Brenda is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, this
Did
looks
you
great.
navigate the web yet, Taylor? Did you figure it out?
Yes, I did. I use the Google
And I was
machines.
shout out to Diana. She's actually the one that did the more like graphics, like with the background and everything. So
Yeah, this looks
yeah,
awesome.
but
Well,
it's
very
like
well done.
fun. It really is. Honestly, it's anyone. I don't know if everyone should, but really anyone could start a podcast, and so it's just
I mean, we got
delightful.
these two idiots here. We've been doing it for 3 years now, and so
Perfect. And you're famous, so yeah, that's
yeah, to all
Ooh,
700
we're
of our
famous.
subscribers, they know they clicked that button at one point. Yeah, that's exciting. So you guys started this. You do have is it like a monthly cadence, or just kind of whenever you guys get around to it? 'Cause
it's
you've
kind
got
of whenever we can. We haven't really got
very
a full
busy,
structure
a lot of
to
horse
it
racing.
yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, and sometimes the nice thing is that there's 4 of us. So if there's a scenario where, one of us can't make it or what have you, it kind of works out. And we're just trying all sorts of different things in terms of topics. We'll have things on like community or last episode was sort of more of a deep dive into Brenda's background and yeah, so it's
Leo
hmm?
and Leonardo
Oh, into
DiCaprio.
Leo, yes. Yeah, her fan site.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that one is
I
definitely a
was
listen.
excited. I haven't got all the way through that one because I was just making it through the partner town hall commentary and stuff, and I was like, oh man, like I need to make it to like what is this where she's mistaken for Leonardo
I should introduce her
Such
to
a
my
good title.
sister.
Like I was like, oh.
I know. Well, and Diana is the one that came up with the questions, and they're like hard hitting questions. They're good.
My sister, she's hopefully I don't think she listens to this. Anyway, she has a thing for Leonardo DiCaprio. She's happily married now, but when Titanic came out, she was in college, I think, and she told me she went to the theater and saw it 33 times, I think. Yeah, so maybe her and
Wow.
Brenda could hang out and talk about Leo.
Yeah, that is
33
commitment.
times.
It's
James
a long
Cameron's got an
movie.
extra mansion because of her.
And
That's
I was gonna say, isn't it like so I have not ever watched Titanic all the way through, or just like bits and
You know how
pieces
it
of it,
ends?
like when it's been
I
on
don't ruin it for
TV.
you.
spoilers.
But
Spoilers.
just enough to get references or whatever. But like, it's a long movie, isn't it? It's like 3 hours almost or something, maybe.
Yeah, boats didn't go so fast back then. It took a while.
I had a job. One of my first jobs was at Blockbuster Video. And when
Ooh.
Titanic came out on video, it was 2 VHS tapes. So it was very
That's how you know how
heavy to
serious
put
it
back.
was. Be
Yeah.
kind, rewind. Oh my gosh, I miss the Blockbuster experience. We've really done our children a disservice with just all these streaming services and immediacy for everything.
Here's my thing, though, Taylor. If you could go back in time and boop, show up in a Blockbuster lobby, you'd be like, "Hey,
Why was that my sound? Why is
like,
poof my
'cause
sound?
no, like poof, like you just appear,
I didn't
like
hear poof.
time machine." Okay, I think that's something you need to deal with. Why you
That's
associate it with poop? I don't know.
yeah.
Anyway, poof, you're there, and you can say, "Hey, bud, if you come with me in the future, you can instead of having to pick from the videos on this shelf, you can watch anything you want, anytime." There's endless, like thousands of things. Wouldn't that be great? And you think that would be totally awesome. And now here
Yeah.
we are on the other side of that, where we think, man, I'd rather just have a shelf where that's my selection and I can kind of force into making these choices because there's more excitement in finding something good in a small set of things than spending the whole evening trying to find something when you
Yeah,
know that
I think it is just unintended consequences of things that you miss out on. And obviously, I don't think any of us would disagree. It's not like quote unquote like better by most metrics, but I think you lose a lot of things, obviously. Like we could go on a whole conversation with AI about that as well. Like these things are better, but like we are losing a lot of different things. So anyways, and
podcast.
back to the podcast, your
Sorry.
podcast. Yeah. So as far as like y'all just started rolling out, I think we've got like 4 episodes.
Yeah. Early days, early days. I think another
Yeah.
big motivation for us as well is that much like the rest of tech, they're in the Shopify space, like in the SDA, there aren't a huge amount of like women in the space. So
Yeah.
we don't really go into that a huge amount. Like that's not really the focus of the podcast, but it's more just kind of like, hey, be visible and that there are
Yeah.
women in the ecosystem and kind of encouraging more people to join. So yeah.
Which is great. I mean, I don't know Diana as much, but like I can say specifically like you, Trudy, Brenda are all just like huge names, spaces in the space that I looked up to like when I was coming up in Shopify dev as far as like being super helpful. So I'm glad that y'all finally have a podcast as well. Like I think it's great that you have like a place you can put your collective um helpful information out there and stuff as well. I think it's gonna do very, very well. So I'm very excited for you.
Awesome. We'll just keep on recording, and then awesome Trudy with the editing. So yeah.
Yeah, what are you guys using for recording? I saw that most recent one, like the things move and people talk and it shifts around. Like that's so
Yeah,
cool.
I know. So we record on Descript.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
We've
I
talked
think
about
it's like a
Descript before.
competitor to
Oh yeah, we talked
Riverside.
about it before.
Yeah.
But I'm fairly certain that the Trudy downloads them and then edits them in ScreenFlow and then uploads them again. So
Nice.
yeah, there's a third-party tool there.
Hmm.
Taylor and I
So
are a little more
yeah,
pragmatic.
we're a little
Just
bit
kind of
more, yeah, just push the button and then very minimal editing. Usually only when someone's like, can you please like remove that or whatever? That's typically the only amount of editing
Sure, yeah.
that's done. Like that's well, and speaking of that, like
what
I mean, you're
what?
all very busy women and stuff. Like you're running like very successful apps and like companies, right? Like businesses and stuff. And is that part of like the motivation for the podcast too? Like I think it is for like everybody. There's stuff you want to give back to the community, but it's also really
Mhm.
helpful like in general, like practical reasons to do that as well. So like, from my instance, like getting sick next to Karl automatically, that makes me look like, oh man, Taylor's a bigger deal because he's talking to Karl, so that must mean something. So it works out really well for me, very selfishly. So I
Just rubs
mean,
off, yeah.
yeah.
The
So
aura, what do you call it? Aura farming or something? I
that's
don't
ooh,
Yeah.
yeah. So like, I mean, I think so. We all like have the podcast and stuff, and this is a lot of back and forth, and we can get into this too because Karl just dropped that survey recently, right? And I think
Mhm.
that's part of the idea sometimes is like figuring out like what's actually helpful. Like, are we doing something that's actually helpful for the community? Or are there things that we can be doing differently? I think it's very cool that we have a Shopify dev community that gives back so much. Like everybody's very giving. Like all of y'all have so much amazing information like across the whole tech stack in Shopify, right? And experience on both sides, like in and out. Because is Diana ex Shopify? I can't remember. I thought she
Mhm.
was.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yep, she
thought
is.
so. So like both sides, right? Of all of that. You all have such like great experience that you're just like sharing with everybody or whatever. But I think when people are asking about that, sometimes it's like, okay, well, why do the podcast or whatever too? So I think that's
Mhm.
always helpful to talk about as well.
Yeah. I think for me, so I used to teach for quite a while.
Hmm.
So I taught at back when boot camps were a thing. Remember
Hmm.
those?
Yeah.
Everybody was just sort of pushing out front end developers. So anyway, there was a boot camp in Toronto that was awesome called Hacker U, and I think for me, like because I'm not teaching anymore, it's like I don't have like an outlet. Like I'm like, oh, I want to talk about this kind of stuff, and I'm not a writer. I'm like just really terrible at writing stuff. So the podcast is kind of fun in that way. Where I think it also helps just, you don't have to think so deeply about it, but when you speak something, it almost helps you align with what your opinions are or kind of gives you a greater perspective and then talking to other people and that kind of thing. So I think that's been really interesting because even something like the last episode we were talking about the town hall, and I think we went to the town hall in person, had a great time, but I don't think I would have thought about it as deeply and kind of collected my thoughts on it if I wasn't going to be talking about it on the podcast afterwards. Did that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's really because you almost have it's almost like a think tank or like a mastermind group or whatever that you're basically just letting people sit in on, like
That's a
talking about
really
all
good
these
way.
things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
there's also
I
like
would agree
differing
too.
opinions. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And your different experiences are part of that. But yeah, like absolutely, like I don't know. I think I'm very bad about just reacting and like moving on, right? Like I'm very good about like pushing forward. I think a lot of us are, right? Like that's one of a good skill set that you have often as a dev or or what have you. But yeah, like actually taking the time to look back and think about those things or whatever is definitely hard to do. So it's cool that you now have a dedicated space for that as well. So that's helpful for you, and then helpful for everybody as well to get those other perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I did notice you do not have a changelog segment on your podcast. Would you like to borrow some of ours?
Karl's always trying to get rid of me.
I'll have to suggest that. Yeah.
No, I
You
do
know what?
think that
We're only on episode 4, so we're open to, we can always make tweaks, right?
I do think what Taylor shared, though, that is it a metaphor? I think it's a metaphor. The change, the group think tank. There it is. Sorry.
Mhm.
I think that is part of what I enjoy your guys' podcast, because it is. It's nice to hear several professionals, people who are well established in their careers and in their knowledge, be able to share and have that conversation in front of all of us. And like you said, I think your voices need to be represented, so it's nice to have that. So thanks.
Yeah. No, it's been fun. I only just I wish I was funnier. Like, I'm not a very
So
funny
do I.
person. You know, sometimes I listen to podcasts and you're cracking up the whole time. Whereas, I feel like I have to bring at least some good sound bites, but they're not going to be funny. They're just, they might
That's
be
what makes
helpful,
them funny.
informative, but they're not funny. Yeah.
Have you considered a laugh track?
Oh, we haven't gotten the soundboard yet. I feel like,
Say Riverside has one in here. I just always forget about it.
Don't do it, Taylor.
I feel like Kurt
I'm not
has
playing
one
up.
for his
Oh,
podcast.
he definitely has
Kurt
one.
does,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't even know how to get to it anymore. All right,
Yeah,
you're in
no,
luck.
I took it away.
Did you disable this?
No, I didn't disable it. I don't know how to do that.
That would be great. Oh, I think it's because I signed in as a guest. I didn't sign in as as a host this time, so I don't have all the controls now. That's why you sent that link in Slack. I didn't even click on the meeting one or whatever. I did the Slack link, so that's why you got me.
Gotcha. That's right. So, do you guys think ahead in terms of what you want to talk about, or do you just kind of, when it's time to record another podcast, think about what's on top of mind? How strategic are you?
So there are some topics that we sort of think about in advance. Other ones, it's more like what's happening in the ecosystem, like the town hall or when they were announcing additions and that kind of thing. Just again, like almost like Shopify gossip kind of thing, because we're not in terms of, I think we have to figure out who we're talking to as well, because we're just so brand new. Kurt has, with the unofficial podcast, has like a very clear, is more for merchants. You are more for developers, and so it's like figuring out where are we, I guess. But I would say I really like the ones where, we're doing more interviews with the kind of like questions with each other, and then also just talking about like um different aspects of being like, the community, how it works. So we'll see. If you have any suggestions for topics, please let us know, because we don't have this like interview format where we're bringing on guests. You have your episodes as well where you're just sort of chatting back and forth. So maybe I should take some inspiration from there.
Well, it'd be hard to do interviews with guests and you already have 4 people on the podcast, but have you guys ever thought about bringing
It's like a
folks on,
group
or you think
interview.
Yeah.
We have, especially because, again, if our schedules don't all line up, the idea being that, one person can come on and do an interview with someone, and then the rest of the 3 of us don't need to attend that one. Yeah.
That'd be cool too. I think you guys have some very insightful questions as you ask each other. So you're definitely building that interview skill set, right? If you didn't already have it. So
yeah, I don't think that was our intention initially too. Was like guests.
No, it
right?
wasn't.
No,
it wasn't.
It
I was just like, I want to do a podcast because I did the newsletter. Like, let's start something else. Taylor was like, hey, we want to do a podcast, sure. And then he knew all these people, so suddenly we had a focus. That was nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and that, I mean, I don't know, good, bad, and indifferent. At least all are starting off that way. I mean, it seems like people actually prefer the podcast guests. Like, Karl and I perchance wax and wane a bit too much, peeking in on. I think it's really funny though, because as many people say that they like that, we get just as many people saying they don't like that about. I don't know. That's why the survey stuff's really interesting. I wouldn't say it's conclusive yet. We don't have to get too much into it or whatever. We've only
We'll
got
talk about it in a little
a
bit.
handful of
Yeah.
survey
Well,
results,
there's
but
all different
it's interesting.
podcast styles, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
listen to one, Paula Pant. She has an Afford Anything podcast. It's like a money podcast. Highly recommend. She's excellent. She did like, um, uh, I want to say like some type of journalist degree, like master's type thing. Anyway, she has these Q&A episodes, and her co-host, the intro, there's like the most minimal banter you've ever heard in your life, and it's like immediately into the question. So yeah. Whereas other people, they could have like 45 minutes of banter and I'll listen to the whole thing. So it just really depends.
Yeah. We started doing like timestamps to kind of help get around that, or at least I thought that
Oh,
would
that's
help kind of
smart.
quell some of
Yeah.
that. Because some people are like, it's great when you guys just talk about like regular everyday stuff or whatever. And some people are like, stop talking about regular everyday stuff, So it's
Mm-mm.
hard when you're trying to figure out. So I think what you're talking about, like as far as like I think we're still even trying to figure out like who's the actual person that we're trying to talk to, or whatever. I think a lot of people are like, oh, have an avatar or whatever, of like this persona, and then kind of like build everything around that. But I think ours is maybe still even too broad. It's like Shopify devs, which is really hyper niche, right?
Mm.
But I think it's still too broad, like even within Shopify devs. So I don't know. Interesting.
So moving forward, we're
Got
just going to focus on Rails developers in Shopify.
You read my mind, Karl. I was just about to say
Were you? Oh,
that's
sorry,
your
cut you off.
niche. That's your niche. Yeah. I do think that it's so accessible now to
Yeah.
have a podcast where if you do want to, again, and what you're talking about, Taylor, with being able to share information
Hmm.
and connect with people, I think it's a really good avenue. Especially if you are working from home. I think that
Yeah.
if you are working remotely and you don't have a massive team to talk with all the time, having those, I don't know, opportunities to really connect with people, um, it's still over Zoom, obviously, or, still over
Yeah.
video, but it makes a big difference.
Yeah, and it's really nice to be able to just, I don't know, talk tech, like Shopify tech with people too, specifically. There's I don't know about everybody else. So I'm fortunate enough now, like my wife like also works with me in the business, right? And so we can talk Shopify, but I can't really talk Shopify. Like we can talk about stuff in like the admin stuff. She does UX and ops and all this other stuff or whatever. So she's very familiar with Shopify in general, but not. She's like, I have no interest in coding whatsoever. Like I don't,
Hmm.
no interest at all. And so it is nice to have that space for sure. And I think too for people that are, whether you're doing apps or services, I don't know. I think especially like with AI and stuff like this or whatever, putting yourself in a position where you're online somewhere and people can find you and just hear you talk about stuff. I think, I don't know. It makes the potential chance for connection more meaningful, and people are more likely to be open to just taking either your advice, like whether you're doing services, or they feel more comfortable with you because they trust you a little bit more as a person,
Hmm.
right
Yeah.
behind an app or whatever kind of type thing.
Yeah.
So I've had clients that have found the podcast, like they don't, a lot of them don't really care about the content or whatever, but they're like, oh yeah, like I've seen that or whatever, and that was helpful, or whatever, even if like most of the content isn't. But for them, I think it's
Hmm.
helpful that it's there.
And I think because your audience is Shopify devs, it's also really helpful. I found this when I was teaching, where sometimes I would be showing something or demonstrating and I would make a mistake. Like I would have, something that would go
No.
wrong or what have you. And of course, never, yeah. Um, and I found that those moments where it's like, oh, it's everybody makes mistakes. Nobody knows everything. We're all just
Yes.
people. It's
Hmm.
really encouraging for other people that might sort of be intimidated about getting into the space of development or like Shopify or not really know where to start. And so even things like again, sorry to go back to the like money podcast, but when I was getting into like finance stuff, I I just listened to a lot of podcasts and I found ones
Yep.
that I liked and that were friendlier. And it was the ones that made it like more human that kind of appealed to me and made it friendlier to dig in a bit deeper.
Agreed. If you had to tell people something about your podcast in terms of like who you most think they would connect with or the kind of stuff people might find there, what would you want to say?
I would say that it is just a casual conversation about people who are working in the Shopify space, and you get a lot of like not insider, well, I guess kind of insider knowledge in terms
Mm-hmm.
of we are in it, 24/7, all about Shopify, seeing what the releasing, things we're running into, living our day to day. We're all entrepreneurs. So none of us have, a regular 9 to 5 job. That's actually a good topic for an episode. We should do one on that.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's who I would say is someone who's looking for, you can, put it in the background while you're cooking or doing whatever. Yeah, it's not really like a hardcore, you need to be taking notes and, here's all of the tips and tricks and that kind of thing. It's more of just like a friendly conversation.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, that's not the only thing that you have been doing sort of in that space too. You also have this thing called Women Unified in Commerce. I talked about that.
Yeah, so this kind of came about because back in 2024, Trudy and I were really wanting some community in terms of meetups. And so there were partner meetups that were happening and this kind of thing, but we found that it was mainly like a lot of devs and that sort of stuff. So we were trying to find a space that we could have meetups in person in Toronto because we're both Toronto-esque based. I mean, I'm not really, but close enough. And so we thought, okay, we can do this very grassroots. We can make it super small, and that's what we did. It was very much, pizza and drinks and that kind of thing. And we had a very small turnout, but it was great because we had SEO people that would come. We would have backend developers, front end developers. We'd have small business owners and we'd even have people that weren't necessarily even on Shopify. It was just people that were business owners who were selling and that kind of stuff. So that was really great. And then unfortunately, the space that we were running it out of, they moved and the location was too far. So since 2024, we've been trying to find a new location. And so then in 2020, so just this year, we connected with the wonderful Claire from Domain, and Domain was so generous and said, hey, this is a really good idea. We really want to support women in e-commerce. And so we had our first sort of I don't know, re-inaugural, the sort of reboot. That's the word I'm looking for. The reboot just this past was it February or March? It seems so long ago at this point. Anyway, and we had at the Stripe offices, which was also fantastic. And we had a mocktail bar, we had prizes, we had giveaways, we had a wonderful speaker. And yeah, it was a really great event. So the idea is we're hoping to have them sort of once a quarter. And it's just been a fantastic thing. And it's just really, I think that's the really awesome thing about working, with Trudy and with other women in the space is it's just like, you know what? It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be a certain thing. Let's just make it happen and bring people together. And so that's what we achieved.
That's
That's
awesome.
really cool.
I
And so,
love these in-person events again too. I think that's so cool
Yes.
that people
Yeah.
are like doing in-person events and seeing a lot of success too, right? Like there's like tons of folks showed up. I think that's amazing. I love it.
did you say then, and your ultimate goal there is just to build community? Like, folks
Honestly, yes. And I don't even mind if it's not like a huge turnout, big bash kind of thing. I think it's really interesting the fact that it is just commerce in general. So because I find sometimes when you have partner meetups, it really is just people from agencies and this kind of thing. Whereas we get to talk directly to people that are dealing with the day to day, having to ship things and having to like, oh, is my brand good? And that kind of stuff. So you have really interesting conversations that way. And it's all it doesn't feel as sort of networky. It just feels like you're just talking with people.
Yeah, that's nice. I was going to say, from some experiences I've had in the past of trying to do in-person events, it can kind of skew towards everyone's trying to pitch or,
Mhm.
get you on their LinkedIn or whatever it is. It's nice if you could just make the focus just being there and let things happen organically. And
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. I need to talk to y'all about this because I would love for us to like organize more in-person stuff. So if we could, maybe we can figure out a Liquid Weekly cart to cart, in person, we could do something like that, or even SDA or whatever. I love the in-person stuff. Like I said, I don't know if y'all had seen that too. There's another one over in Portugal. Like there's a big like in-person Shopify partner conference and stuff or whatever that they
Oh,
throw. Yeah, like so, I think that is the goal or idea, right? Is to try to create more of these like community opportunities that aren't just like networking. So however y'all have got that figured out, I would love to take notes on that. So maybe even that could be a podcast episode as well. Talking
yes.
about like throwing together an in-person event like that or whatever. I think that would be
Shopify
really
trail
cool.
ride.
Ooh, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can help arrange that. Yeah, because I think, I mean, having worked in other spaces, and I know that, Shopify is going through a lot of transitions, since they IPO'd, and it's gotten a lot of criticism and things have changed and they're not like they used to be and all this kind of thing. But honestly, at the end of the day, having worked for a lot of other type of industries, we also need to acknowledge that what we have is pretty special in terms of the ecosystem and the people in it. So I just like to be mindful of that sometimes. You're still totally able to criticize, but, also acknowledge it.
Yeah, and I think that's the good thing about Shopify's end, at least, is they're usually pretty good at handling criticism, and so I do hope. I think they addressed a little bit of that in the partner town hall, right? Like they're aware of a couple of things. I was really hoping to see some movement on some things since then, since they acknowledged it, but it's kind of been a little bit on the quiet since then. But it is good. I don't know. Most of like product leads and stuff like that, they've always seemed very good about taking in feedback, kind of acknowledging that like we have like the 1,000-foot overview and that's what we're worried about. I was talking to somebody on the team relatively recently, and they were talking about being concerned about like 0.3 milliseconds and how that compounds into hours of time on responses for things or whatever. And that's their focus, right? Like they're on the 0.3 milliseconds and how that impacts like the whole like dev system or whatever, versus we're more like, you know, boots on the ground, talking to merchants, and they really value that feedback. So if you can find a way to give it in a way that you're not, I don't know, like totally malicious about it or whatever, like they're very willing to listen. I
Hmm.
think that's been one of the things that's been very helpful for us too, like on the podcast. They're very
As
good
they
about that. Hmm.
as they should be. Anyone that is running a product, like that has a product, feedback is a gift. You should value that. I'm always
Yeah.
surprised, and I get why some people may not want, criticism that they haven't asked for. But boy, anytime we get any sort of support ticket or something like that where someone's making a suggestion or how it could make their life easier, we listen. Like that is huge because the majority of people aren't going to tell you. They're just going to uninstall and go somewhere else. So the fact that somebody actually cares enough to tell you, that's huge.
Yeah. Do you think now this is curious because I think this is an interesting topic to maybe delve into as well, but because there's kind of like this delineation that we can kind of go in from Shopify and getting feedback from merchants compared to getting feedback from developers. And so maybe on a smaller, more
Mm,
granular level, even from the design pack standpoint or what have you, y'all obviously have a very, I don't know, I think merchant and like partner friendly app, right? As far as like being able to access it and do whatever I need to with it when I'm working with merchants, and very much so the same way. If you don't want to go deeper into it, merchants can still set it up very easily and work with it to get what they need. So I don't know. Do you look at feedback or take feedback differently? Like depending on where it comes from, like a merchant or a dev. Does
mm,
that make sense? Like as
mm-hmm,
far
mm-hmm.
as they both obviously have their own merit, but I don't know if you treat them differently.
So, yeah, I mean, it's the classic product manager hat being put on, right? Where we have to consider at this point, after 5 years, we know who our ideal customer profile is. So we take that very much into consideration. And if we have a request from someone rather than a suggestion, sometimes it'll feel like, oh, this one person really, really wants this, but it's so specific to their use case that it doesn't really make sense to spend, however long it's going to take. And the other thing too, not only just the time, because honestly, things can be accomplished quite quickly now. It's also, is it going to add complications for other people? Like, is it going to make it too complicated in the UX to understand and that kind of thing? So I would say that, to be honest, we take most of our base merchants feedback and we'll integrate it and we'll roll things out for them, because as you say, they're like boots on the ground and they know what's going on. Whereas sometimes we'll get requests from developers that will be a lot more like high level or specific or really like some weird integration, and then like, well, you're going to enjoy that, but is it going to be beneficial for everyone as a whole? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that makes sense. Maybe depending on the kind of app that you have,
Right.
where
Yeah.
that feedback really resides as far as like being super, super meaningful. But I think that's only interesting because I think a theme that I hear a lot when other devs are talking is more like, we're partners, so we should get like a different layer of support, which to some
Mm.
degree I personally agree with as well, right? Like we're experts.
Yeah.
We do have that back and forth. We have the context of this is how it should work. And
Mm-hmm.
I've looked at the docs, right? Versus usually, I would imagine, and maybe this is completely wrong, but like probably most merchant support requests are, rather than going to the docs or rather than looking up how something works. My assumption is, and I'm basing that off of myself personally, so maybe that's unfair. Like if I'm using another tool in another space, like, and I can't find it immediately, I'm not always going to the docs. I'm just gonna like
Mm-hmm.
email someone from support and be like, why doesn't this work? And
Mm-hmm.
then they message back and say, because you didn't toggle this dummy and it's right here in the help docs. And so I'm basing that off of, like I said, how I typically operate outside. But that was my thought or question potentially, maybe, was like, if it's helpful to have a different layer of support for partners. I think you and Trudy both are very accessible in general for other devs, and you're very well known in the space. So it might not be the same maybe for other app devs that haven't been in the space as long, or they don't have as prominent of an app as well that's as established as design packs. So yeah, I'm not sure if you have thoughts about that either too, for different kinds of apps, if that is maybe more specific to your app.
I totally, what I like to do is basically have some of those like hidden functionality things, but make them hidden. Like don't have all these settings associated with them. Use things like CSS variables and what have you, or just like things, like functions that you can tap into that the average user isn't going to use. But then what you can do is have them available and they're sitting waiting in the wings. And because I've worked for so many like various agencies and built out like custom stuff, I know those are really nice to have, but they don't need to be front and center. And then build out your docs so that you have really comprehensive documentation, letting other developers know that, hey, these are here. You can use them. So
Yeah, I like that in themes, how there are, I think that's kind of like a pattern a little bit of, you've got the general docs, and then they either have a section specifically for developer docs, or they try to name it something
mm,
scary like JavaScript events or something. So
yeah.
that way the merchant doesn't click
Advanced.
into it. And yeah. So yeah, you don't want advanced or custom or whatever, because they'll be like, oh yeah, like I can handle that or whatever. So you need to throw something in, some jargon or something in there. So okay, so that makes a lot of sense as far as maybe just having something where it makes sense for those specific use cases. Is that customer feedback? Obviously y'all have an app that helps bring in sections directly to the shop in the way that I feel like it should be done. All of you other page builders out there, I'm not a fan of you. I haven't met one that I am a fan of. So that's as controversial as I can get there. Whatever, design packs, the way they do it is the way that I love it to be done. That's perfect. And so uh, y'all have, like, how many sections do you have now? It's a crazy number.
We have a lot, but here's
A
the
lot.
thing. I feel like the amount of sections for us is actually no longer important now that blocks are into
Sure.
play,
Yes.
because what we've found now is that so we've been updating all of our sections to support what I call flexible blocks, but basically nested blocks, the
Uh-huh.
whole, and it
Instead of just
are
theme blocks
yes.
versus section blocks and theme blocks, that's not
Theme
confusing
blocks.
at all.
I know. It's like app extensions and then app theme extension. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Naming things is
Uh,
hard.
yes, it really is. But what we found is that like the humble rich text section, which You can create so many different things with it now because there's the idea of column blocks and you can do slider blocks and you can, like, everything is just blockified. So one of my favorite things actually on support is, and I've been using AI now to actually make it even more um, quick, is if somebody says, "Oh, I really like the layout of this page," or I found this, or I have this design. How do we implement it with design packs? Because and now you can use rich text to almost create like any page layout that you want. So it's quite powerful, and I think that's kind of the way things are going to go as well in the theme editor. That's my prediction. So rather than having like, oh, you have all these different sections, because you can have multiple presets now as well, which is
Right. Well,
fantastic.
so I'm curious about that too, maybe as far as maybe a follow-up into that, because there
Yeah.
are, I mean, theme blocks, flexible blocks, more aptly named here. Shopify Take Notes, is, that you can get pretty complicated, right, with layouts, and you can achieve some really specific things. But I don't know. So like what I see a lot so far in interacting with merchants, and it sounds like your experience might be a little bit different potentially, would be like it's too complex for most merchants, like as far as like how to set up them. So like you can take a look at even, some of the first themes obviously that launched, like, or it's not some of the first themes that launched with theme blocks, with like Horizon and the presets or whatever, they are getting still just hammered on the reviews
Hmm.
side of things. And I don't think it's because it's a poorly constructed theme or anything like that. Obviously, a lot of brilliant minds like worked on that theme. I think it's just super complicated, and people are really leaning into or preferring something where like we just have these already set up. Like it's
Hmm.
way too many toggles. The UX and the editor isn't great as well, because I can't tell you how many times I've been working on a flexible block, not a flexible block. I've been working on a theme block where I just couldn't find or realize that it was actually nested under another block or
Yes.
whatever. And I had to like
Yep.
move it around because it's just not clear. So I don't
Yep.
know. I'm not a UX designer in a way that I can be like, this is how to solve this or whatever. It's very complicated as is right now. And I think it's frustrating for merchants as opposed to just the traditional sections and blocks layout of,
Yep.
they're very familiar with this. They don't need the extra hand holding. And so most of the time when I'm building stuff, I don't build it with theme blocks because of the inherent issues there. So I don't know if your experience is different.
So it's interesting because I have been building themes since, not even, you couldn't even have sections on the homepage.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
way, way back. So the level of complexity of layouts that you can have now on Shopify themes right from the content management system is so much more than we have ever had before. And I think the difference is, and I will say, I know Horizon is getting hammered with their reviews, but so was Dawn. Like Dawn also suffered from this. It's the free default
I don't
theme, and
remember
so
this. This is
yeah,
good. This is a good like grounding instance here. So thank you
yeah.
for that. I don't
Any of
remember
the
that.
free themes don't really tend to do well, because they tend to be, they're not as fully featured. They're often not as like specifically designed for what the merchant is looking for.
What what did you mean by hammered by the reviews? I didn't.
Lots of
Oh, they
negative
didn't.
reviews.
Lots of negative
Oh, negative
reviews. Yeah,
reviews. That
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know comparatively to Dawn or what have you, but I think it's, again, having worked in the theme space for so long, there's a really big difference between the day one merchant and the commerce manager that is going in and creating a complicated landing page. Those are two very different people. And it's hard to design a product that will work really well for both of those people. And I think the issue with Horizon, my personal theory, is that as a free theme to just start off with and have that be the default for merchants to start with is incredibly intimidating.
Yeah, it's a lot of options, and that
Yeah.
was, well, and I guess I was back and forth on, which one this is more confusing for. Obviously, like people who are more established and understand sections blocks,
Hmm.
great. But then you introduce like the theme blocks. I think a majority of people that are used to that hierarchy are also like, what? So and I don't know. Like it's an interesting problem to solve. I don't envy Shopify for having to try to figure that
No.
out.
And it's tricky too because because it's such a complicated thing to roll out, I think there's certain things that were missed, like not being able to have a block index on, sub blocks, for instance. And you can do a hack to have it on the first level of blocks, but once you go deeper than that, there's not really a way. And not being able to pass like variables, like if a block is nested inside of a parent block, it doesn't know what settings are on that parent block. It only knows what the parent section is. So yes, there's definitely issues. That being said, I have seen some people create some incredible things that they would never have been able to do without a developer. So that's the trade-off as well, right? Is that when you give more advanced tools to people, for sure, there's going to be some people that are like, whoa, this is really confusing and intimidating, and I just want a section that looks beautiful, throw it up my store, put the content in. Whereas there's going to be other people that are like, look, I want to be able to have an experience where, I can change how many, like the layouts, I can change the spacing in between things to really get it exactly how I want it to look. We deal with this all the time. It's such a fine balance between enough settings and not enough settings. So
Yep.
that's we're really focused on this, like, because in terms of how do you manage like the overall styling usually for a site? How do you tackle that?
So usually I'm given a design by a designer and then I go through and I match it to the design. I don't have an and with me wherever I go. No, that's unfortunately I can't really speak very well to the design part of it, but I will tell you because we bonded over this momentarily before is our disdain for color schemes, but that is this is where I've started to get into the standpoint of typically to move quickly, I will use and leverage whatever's within the theme. And so most themes that did embrace color schemes, they did that. So like this was where I should have actually gone through and taken more time to design. Instead of here's the design, I'm like, great, I'm gonna make it work within the theme. And then found out or just kind of was reintroduced to how much I hate color schemes and how they're implemented in the theme editor. And um, so from a design standpoint, it's obviously very necessary. But honestly, like from my side of things, yeah, I just get a design and I go from there kind of type thing. So how would you typically go about that then? Maybe that's because I don't
Well,
think Karl is gonna
I was
do
gonna
the
ask Karl
design side of
next.
things.
How I design front end stuff? Why would I do that? This is
Why
my
would
app
I
store.
do that?
Yeah, I'm not gifted this time, I think.
We don't have your gift, and so we rely
So,
on talented people like you to help us.
so one of the things that we run into is when you have a lot of settings in a block or a section, if you set things up there, then what happens if you then down the road want to change to something else? Like cascading style sheets were a thing for a reason when they came out because inline styles were really annoying to go in and change everywhere. So that's what we're doing now is it's currently in beta, but we're rolling it out very soon. Is this design system. So the idea being that you can control everything, and that when you add a new section or what have you, you can just control it all from one area rather than having to go in and set things up individually in each section or each block or that kind of thing.
So
Because
that is great,
mhm,
but I'm sure you've run into this as well. And maybe not because if you get to design, like you get to maybe control that a little bit more than me. But every time I've leaned into this, I still end up building in overrides for every single section pretty much. So we have like, you can set it up in theme settings, but then the
mhm.
section settings themselves have to have an override because for some reason, all of a sudden it's like we have this beautiful brand design guide or something that the merchant has paid thousands of dollars to have established and they hand it off and they're like, okay, here's the design, build this out, here's your guide, everything adheres to this, great. And then they're like, why is this button not fuchsia? And I'm like, for one, what is fuchsia? I don't know. Give me whatever color I need for that. And then two, like that doesn't exist on your brand style guide. It's just, well, I want it. And so then you're having
Mhm.
to build this in unless you just want to drop it into like the custom CSS setting in there, and then heaven help you if you have to find it later and you're wondering where that came from, and then you finally remember you dropped into the custom CSS. So I don't know. I'd love to hear like how maybe you're planning or solving for that, or is that's kind of the similar experience?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We have thought of that. So the answer is why not both? So the idea being similar to, um, how we approach CSS back in the day, where you have your global style sheet, and then you can also have those settings on your block or your section that can then override those. So the path that we've taken is essentially have our settings have defaults. So you have essentially everything can be like left blank. Does that make sense? Where it's going to
Yes.
inherit things. So, but if you do want to override that, you can still do that within a setting. You don't have to do the custom CSS or anything like that. So it's
Mhm.
there if people need it in the fuchsia button situation. It's you can totally do that.
Yeah, and CSS variables have made that so much easier. Like that's just
Yes.
some of
Oh
the
my
stuff that we
gosh.
have now.
Yes.
That's just everything is so much
Yeah.
easier than it used to be for
Yeah.
those things. But um, so yeah,
Yeah.
so I could talk to Anne for hours on the editor, but I know Carl's kind of like nodding off a little
I
bit.
know. Sorry,
So
Karl. I
we
know.
need
No,
to find
no.
something for him to jump in here because, like I said,
This is really helpful.
I will learn from Anne and use this opportunity selfishly as much as possible.
I know. I
Carl's
was
the
gonna
one who
bring
was
up.
like, "Oh, let's have Anne on again." I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, great."
So I saw a train. It was on rails the other day.
Oh, look at
Uh,
Anne with the segue. Look at that.
that's
Oh
good.
my
Yeah.
gosh. See this is this is why you have your own podcast now. This is
Mm,
Yeah.
cuz you're at this
yeah.
level.
The Ann Thomas Comedy Hour. We should have that. No, I appreciate hearing this. I'm just happy to sit back and listen because I don't live in this world day to day very much, and so much happens so quickly. It's easy to lose track of it. So any chance I get to hear like what the smart people are thinking about is helpful.
Well, Carl, I mean, you know, you've got the app now and stuff as well. Have you found that you've had to fight with design styles within a theme as well, or figured out ways that you've had to incorporate that? I'm curious about that.
You should
What us theme
mention
devs end up
that.
doing very hackily to make the merchant happy, and then you also have to figure out how to make the merchant happy because you've
Yeah.
built in great functionality.
Are you using the Shadow DOM?
Shadow Dom. Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's
That is
there.
in use.
There's your
No.
answer.
So that the app, and for those that are listening, this is the Promo Party Pro app. It's a free gift with purchase app. We
Not
have
just the Premiere app, not
oh,
just
thank you.
you
It's
know.
the premiere. It's the premiere. Yeah, we premiered it. Um, we have obviously quite an extensive admin portion, which is where I typically live, and that we're using Polaris view components and things. So we're sticking with the straight up Shopify stuff, trying to make that as palatable as possible. Um, and then for the theme side, we have pretty minimal integration with themes by on purpose because I think that's where you get into a lot of trouble as apps. The deeper you try to integrate with themes, the more surface area you expose yourself to for breakage and things like you raised here. So we have a free gift with purchase pop-up modal. That's probably the biggest theme facing portion that a merchant would want to style. And so for that, we have our own CSS rules that they can customize in the admin section. But that's about it. So the other integrations we're exploring have more to do with like carts and cart drawers, making sure that things get updated when gifts get added and removed because every theme is a little different, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're talking about are there opportunities to add badges or other sort of things to help, but we also kind of have drawn a line where there's like a merchant's responsibility in terms of how they choose to run a campaign, and then there's our app's responsibility, which is powering that. So we'll see where that goes. It may involve more front end stuff in the future, but that's what Cloud's for.
How do you find Claude expertise in a language that you actually know versus one you don't know?
Well, it's an interesting point because when you were making fun of Rails just a minute ago, I was about to throw you an olive branch and say, well, actually, I find as much as I prefer Ruby and I enjoy Rails, that with AI tooling, I feel like languages are almost becoming a commodity where I don't really feel intimidated or all that upset about having to work in whatever language or framework I need to work in because I can either get an analysis of the code or have someone have it write code for me. So, even working with JavaScript, which again, not my favorite, but it's much easier now because I have all the hand holding. Anyway, you were going to ask me what questions? Oh, I forgot the question, Dan. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
like
Oh, it
using
just
Claude,
Yeah.
how it's done. I don't. So personally,
Yes, now I remember now. Okay.
I think it's still great as far as using something like that in what you do know. It's helpful for things that you don't know as well, obviously, to expose you to that. But like for the things that you do know, I don't know. I think it's still the same as far as like it gets you most of the way there, but you still have to really help out with the debugging. I'm sure you've found this as well from like the design side of things and like trying to actually properly architect things. Like it struggles there. It wants to drop inline for everything. And even when you give it like really good structured layouts. So for me personally, at least the thing that I found helpful when it is like a setup that I really know well is like a Claude doc and then a docs folder that has individual skills, so like specific to JavaScript, specific to CSS, of like conventions I always wanted to follow. And like that has actually helped out tremendously because it will actually even call out instances of like, oh, like I actually have two options. Like this one actually adheres more to the docs, but this is what I'd recommend. And the things that it's recommending is like, no, I don't want you to do that. Do what the docs tell you to do, man. So I don't know, Karl, if you've
that's
tried anything like that as well, if you structured that out for Rails or
I
I
mean,
think Claude works great for Rails personally. Like shopinfo.app is a Rails app. And so it was very helpful with a
uh,
lot of the stuff that I wanted to like roll out.
Taylor's enlightened now, Anne. I have found that it does a pretty good job. I do think the two things that people need to be aware of, and I think we've all struggled with this, are as follows. One is there's a big difference between using Claude to do a little piece of code, a bespoke script or app or something small, versus working on a large, albeit maybe even a legacy project. Those are just two different animals, and so you have to approach it somewhat differently. I do think there is a responsibility to be thinking through the architecture. I don't think Claude always does that. Once you establish a pattern, depending on the size of the code base, I have found fair bits of success. Like, for example, in my app, we use GraphQL queries. I have it structured in a certain way in terms of how the queries are stored as source files, how we handle the responses and parse things, and how we handle error conditions. And so now it sees that and it's able to stand up new queries following those same patterns because we've established it, right? But we had to do the work to think through what is our ideal architecture here first, what are the layers we want to introduce in our systems, that sort of stuff. So the other piece too, I think, is the importance of the code review. I have Claude and Codex and others fight it out amongst themselves because they lie all the time. And so, you could walk away from a session with one tool thinking this is the best piece of code that man and machine have ever together devised. And then you say, well, actually, Codex, what do you think? And then it's like, oh, this is crap. Here's why. And it's like, okay, well, back to the drawing board, right? So I think it's
If I
important to get
can
that perspective.
if I can jump in there on that real quick. So I've been trying to use Cursor's bug bot. I don't know if y'all have seen that or whatever. It's like a plugin you can enable to review PRs or what have you. I have like been pretty unimpressed with it, honestly, so far. It feels like kind of that kid in the classroom that has to raise his hand and say something just because he has to say something. It's like, well, you really need to fix this. It's just like that's a completely impossible use case. Like, why would I even worry about accounting for that? And so, I don't know if it's like one of those things. Like, I don't know. Like, it's like one of those like they get like you have to say something in order for it to like pop back or whatever kind of type thing. So I don't know if anybody else has any better instances other than like Karl, like what you're talking about. Like I also do as far as just pulling down the branch and having like Codex review something that Claude wrote or whatever kind of type thing to try to get feedback. But obviously I just want like something very fast that is like on the PR.
mhm.
I can either comment or I can have it automatically review and then give me like actual feedback, and not what I think is kind of silly, or whatever.
I had the exact same experience with BugBot because
Okay, good.
Brenda recommended it, and when I first started using it, I thought, this is amazing. This is fantastic. I was like, oh, this is fabulous because it would write your PR like a little summary for you,
Hmm.
fantastic. And yeah, then I ran into this one situation where all I wanted to do was merge this branch in. All I wanted to do,
Yep.
and it would show me some errors. And I'm like, okay, those are small. I'll go in and fix those. Okay, great, fixed. And then I would, push up my commits and then be like, oh, actually, there's also this. Like, why didn't you tell me
Right.
that?
Feels
And
odd
so,
that you've discovered this just after this, so.
exactly. Yeah. So I just got really frustrated with it. And same. Yeah, I feel you.
Hmm. Did you find an alternative, or we're just all
No,
doing the same thing, right? So someone sent me an
I run it
alternative, but
through.
then
Yeah.
okay, so someone sent me an alternative, but
Oh.
like it's a little bit. I think it's pricier, or they just went up to usage pricing, and then
Mm,
somebody was saying like, oh, now if they're going up to usage pricing, my bill's going to be crazy every month or whatever, and I was like, oh no. So I was trying to find it real quick while we were chatting, but Karl, do you just pull it into a branch or whatever? Or like, have you used any kind of these automated PR review macroscopes? The one I was looking for.
mm.
I haven't yet. I was actually looking this morning at setting up some automations in GitHub, but typically I just do it right in my session. So I've got the branch I'm working on locally, and I say, hey, review all the changes in this branch, and it does it.
Mhm.
Nice. Yeah, I think I'm
Yeah.
probably just gonna have to do something like that.
I find also, do you ever feel like you're now becoming less of a developer and more of a QA person?
Well, that was my next statement I was going to make is when I have my workflow, so I've got a terminal, I've got some kind of IDE open where I can view the source, but I also always have a Git tool open. I usually use GitHub Desktop because I had a friend that worked on it back in the day. And I need to see the diff. And I need to see the diff across the whole project because
Yeah.
I'm trying to maintain that mental context of what is actually happening to my code. And I think it's easy, very easy, to just press the button and let it do its thing and not worry about it. But I think it behooves us to keep that manual review process in place so that we can understand and keep that mental model sharp.
Yeah, at least for me, definitely. As far as I think the way that I framed it to my wife relatively recently when we were, you're going over expenses. You're like, why am I paying so much for these AI tools or whatever? But like, because they save you so much time, right? And that's what I said. At least was I am not like writing like nearly as much code myself, but I am
Mm.
reading 10x the amount of code that I used to. So like, as far as
Yeah.
just because AI is spitting so much of it out, so my output is much higher than what I could do as far as just by myself, but I'm definitely like reading a lot more.
Hmm.
So the QA piece, just being the product manager I'm spending a lot of time on the spec to make sure we can get it as close to a quote unquote one shot as possible. And that still doesn't really happen even with all that time that you invest in properly setting up the repo or whatever. So I don't know. So it sounds like you've been feeling that a bit too.
Oh, yeah. It completely reminds me of when I moved from just being like the lead dev to like tech director and having to just like have a team and you're managing people. The only I would say real because and whatever, I've done that before, so I can do it again. The interesting thing is I find it somewhat easier because when I'm giving feedback, I don't actually have to think about, oh, I don't want to hurt this person's feelings. I want to be
Yeah.
nice.
I don't know. You might have to. Did you see that thing about how like Claude keeps track of like if you're mean to it or not? Did you see that?
No. Oh no. I mean,
Yes.
I am always nice. I say please and thank you
I
to
know. Well, I was
my
gonna say,
my AI, but
We're
what
Canadian.
is what does a
yeah.
mean Ann even look like? It's like, yo, you, like, I don't
Mhm.
even, what does that even look like? So that was a thing. I'll see if I can't find it or whatever, but it was something about how like Claude keeps
Yeah.
track of it. If people are like cursing at it or something, and it's just like, oh, this is a mean human or whatever. I'm like, oh no, they're keeping score.
Oh no. Terrifying.
I'll find it if I can or whatever. So hopefully it was just a joke. It was an April Fool's. I hate being on social media on like April Fool's. Like
No,
I just have to get
it
off
was
because what's real, what's not.
it was in the cloud source
It,
leak. It was part of it.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, what were you gonna say, Taylor?
I don't
I was just gonna interject. I hate to be that person, but I saw you had some things for the changelog, and we're getting a little long in the tooth. So, do we need a transition there? Or do you guys have more you want to cover here?
Yeah. And is there anything else that you want to cover about the podcast and design packs, women unified in commerce?
We have a LinkedIn group for, even though we do our meetups in Toronto for the Women Unified in Commerce, we have a LinkedIn group that is global, so anyone can join. So there's that. So we'll post that in the show notes. But other than that, no, I'm good.
Yep, we'll have it in the show notes for sure.
Awesome.
It's my turn to
Well,
edit the show notes, I think so.
it is. Yeah.
Oh darn.
Yeah. I looked at Anne's podcast show notes, and they're so succinct. And like that must be so nice just to copy that little bit in there and put it in.
We did talk about, actually, we have discussed that we need to actually put the things that we work on, like our products, in there as well. So that will be an update.
Well, so
But
here's the thing. I don't know. Like, Karl, you should have put this in the survey. I should have given this to you as feedback when you were like, hey, like what else should be in here? I should have put in there, like, do you actually read the show notes? Because I feel like I spend more time on the show notes than I do editing the podcast.
oh wow.
So I think that'd be interesting to know if people even read these things. So
You have a problem.
I do have a problem. It's an issue. So I'm aware. So
Well,
okay, do
speaking
you
of your
want to get
problem, yeah.
you want to get into
Yeah.
the changelog?
Who doesn't? I mean, look at us. We're here.
Thanks.
We're excited.
Okay. So changelog, one of the action requireds, the action bar has been removed on mobile. Title bar, primary action now renders as an icon button. So just a heads up, if you're using this specifically, this is for AppBridge. So if you're using that, understand there's changes coming to AppBridge and you need to pay attention to that mess. So I don't know. I feel like somebody's complaining about something with AppBridge every week. So there's some action required stuff in there that is really important for you to know. There's also another action required here for you. Again, AppBridge, new CSS variable for mobile safe area insets, fun stuff. So you've got this previously like being automatically set. And so now like there's going to be like a default and all this other stuff or what have you. So pay attention to it. Embedded apps running on Shopify mobile that utilize fixed or sticky elements at the bottom of the viewport are going to be impacted. So pay attention to that. So now for some of the fun stuff, automated testing for Shopify extensions. That's fun. I haven't dug into this yet, but somebody shared it earlier this week. So it has a library that provides some strongly typed mocks for the extension API. And so you can render different extensions and simulate user interactions more easily and those sorts of things. So I don't know if you've done too much testing with stuff like, checkout extensions and you're just kind of playing around with it in a dev shop and praying and hoping and like seeing like 4 different instances in the editor or whatever while you're trying to get it set up. This will hopefully help out as well. So sure to check that out. That's exciting. Yay. Another thing real quick, discount fields in the storefront API's cart types. So new discount fields, I'm sorry. So check that out. That's always fun if you're using the storefront API. I don't know if y'all have seen this as well, but the Shopify AI toolkit, now you can now connect AI tools to the Shopify platform. That was a big deal that rolled out here. I'm not sure if y'all saw that. Was shared all over as well on socials and stuff like this or what have you. I thought this was kind of an interesting move because I thought that they were really going to focus on Sidekick more so than anything, but now you can hook Claude up and those sorts of things like to your shop even, right? And so I haven't played around with it yet. The results seem to be pretty mixed. I've seen some people say this is amazing. I've seen some people say this is very, very unhelpful. So I don't know. I'm sure it will continue to get better as well. Big call out. Last one from the dev changelog. I was going to throw out one from the non-dev changelog here. But Shopify scripts are going to be officially deprecated, officially. So I thought our date was already
For
here in
real this
April.
time?
I thought our date was in April, but apparently it's just that
2030.
you can't edit or publish. So the ability to edit and publish existing scripts is just gone now at this point. And now the official date where they will cease to execute entirely is now the end of June. So I think this is a way for them to be like, okay, well, this is for real this time. So that is a thing. Just so you're aware, functions are the future. I thought we were already there, but apparently we're not. So we've probably got some legacy enterprise brands still holding on for dear life with scripts, with some stuff that we don't quite have yet at parity and function land. The other thing that I thought was helpful, we talked in the last episode about a bunch of B2B type stuff coming down to non-plus plans. Something that rolled out since then as well through the non-dev changelog, so the general changelog, just so that everybody's aware, you can, through checkout blocks now, you can set up order value limits. Previously, again, just like a B2B feature, what have you kind of type thing. But now, like, you can set a minimum or maximum order subtotal to enforce order limits at checkout, even if you're on even the basic plan, which is kind of huge, pretty helpful for folks to have something that is a straight B2B thing available on Shopify's even little baby plan. So there you go. Change logs for devs and one non-dev change log, just because people need to know.
Wow. Thank you, Taylor. You've done us a service as always. I actually really enjoyed that one. That theme extension tester thingy will be very helpful to me.
Yeah, for sure.
But now, time for the third half of our show, the part everyone waits around for, the picks of the week. And I totally forgot to ask you about this. Hopefully you remembered. Pick of the week is where we just pick something of interest to us this week. It could be a food item. It could be something we learned. It could be a movie. It could be a friend. And then we just share it. So do you need a moment to formulate yours? Probably. I will do mine. Forgot it over here. Okay. I got two of them, actually.
It's a show and tell.
Yeah.
It's another snack.
Is this how
Isn't
you
it?
get people to your YouTube channel versus listening to the podcast? They got to see the visuals.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I'll tell them. No, it's just okay. First, we'll start with the food. These crackers here, I found these at Kroger the other day. So I'm doing keto, and these only have 4 grams of carbs per serving, and they're really good. So I'm a cracker guy. Really like them.
Protein crisp crackers.
Yeah, they're what is that brand by? Simple Truth. Simple Truth. You can find them at Kroger. And then I've been a big fan of the Dune movies.
Yeah.
Just rewatched them again in preparation for the third coming out. And I've always poo-pooed the book. I just assumed it was a certain way and never read it. Yeah, poo-poo again. There you go, Taylor. You're so funny. But I
So
got
you
the book
said it that time.
from the library and started reading it, and I've really enjoyed it. I think it helps having seen the movies. I understand a little bit about what's going on. But yeah, it's
So-
not like I thought.
Nice.
Books.
Yeah,
It's a
well, that's
whole-
the thing. I'm committed to the book, and then we'll see where
Oh
it goes
no,
from there.
you gotta go the whole. Then there's
Have you read them?
My husband has read
Okay.
all of them, and he's got like the prequels and everything. So
Oh, okay.
I thought it was
You
going
got-
to be this really dry sort of house of this as house of that, just like all this political stuff I wouldn't really care as much about, but it's not, at least so far, not written that way. It's actually much more narrative style, which I appreciate.
Nice.
Maybe your husband and I can hang out sometime and talk about it.
you're both pretty nerdy, so it'd probably be fine.
Oh,
I mean,
you, Ann.
very cool. Sorry.
Anywho,
Does he
are you
also
ready?
love Rails?
That's right.
Yeah. He is a data scientist, so but he doesn't do Rails. Yeah. I do have one. It's not. I don't have a show and tell, unfortunately, but it's more of a recommendation, a life hack, if you will.
Okay.
And that would be if you're the type of person that when you first wake up in the morning and you look on your phone and you doom scroll, don't do that. I've started doing a daily crossword instead, and it's been wonderful. I really look forward to it. And there's a bunch of just free ones. But yeah, a daily crossword. That's my
There you go.
hot tip? No.
Pick of the week.
Pick of the week. Pick of the week is a daily crossword. If you're wanting to not even, you could probably do one like a paper one, but that seems like a little too much for me. So I just do it on my phone. But if you want to not even have that phone time, then you could do that too.
Nice.
Yeah, crosswords are great. It's a good suggestion. You should try Sudokus too. I'm sure you'd enjoy that as well.
Nope, I hate Sudokus.
But don't
Yep.
do them then. You would hate them.
No, it's like Rails
Your suggestion
and
sucks,
Sudokus are in
Karl.
the same bucket.
Amazing things that you ought to like and yet you choose not to. Okay. Same notes. Taylor?
It's a spicy
So
episode.
my pick of the week is going to be the new Mario movie. So we took the kids to go see it. It
Oh.
was fun. I don't know. Both times that I've watched these, I thought that they were going to be terrible, but I think they've done a really good job with them. So the kids had fun. They enjoyed it, and we did too. So we took them to that because our spring break trip got canceled. So that was one of our peace offerings. Let's go see a movie. So yeah,
Can I
it's
ask
good.
a follow-up question that's related
Mhm.
to Mario? What is the first Mario game that you remember playing?
Oh, see, so honestly, the first Mario game that I played, a little bit different. Super Smash Brothers on the Nintendo 64. My wife is very, very good at Super Nintendo Mario. I am not allowed to play it. We did not have one of those when I was a kid, and so, but she was one of those that played it a ton, and so we have it now on our Switch where you can still get the old games or whatever. But I'm not typically allowed. Her and my son are very good at it, and I'm not, and they have to always give me their lives, and so it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But how about you? What was your first?
The very first one, like the Nintendo, not
Oh,
Super
okay.
Nintendo, where you also had Duck
Oh,
Hunt and the Power Pad, and yeah.
nice.
Carl, what about you?
Same
Mm.
Z's. I have very vivid memories of those games. I remember my mom surprising us one day with Super Mario 3 when it came out. She had to go in line at Meijer to get it. I still have them, actually. I play them sometimes.
Did you ever play Super Mario 2 with the
Of
floating
course.
Princess Peach?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Amazing games.
Hmm.
My kids don't like them. They find them too stressful.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
they're right. It's very stressful, especially when your wife is yelling at you for stealing all of her lives because you keep dying. Okay,
Yeah.
I need more than the 2D landscape situation. Okay, I can't do it.
You might be more of a Mario Kart kind of
I
level.
am. I crush in Mario Kart. Like I am uncontested in my household. Like I just and no mercy with the kids either. I'm not one of those parents that's like, oh, I'm gonna let you win every time. No, I smoke them every single time. You can't. That's how they get better. So they're crying. It's
Okay,
great.
you gotta break
That's
them
how they
down
learn.
before you can build them up. Yeah, that's right.
Hmm.
All
It-
right, and I think we've reached our our peak episode point here. So with that, we'll wrap it up. And hey, you've wasted another perfectly good hour and a half ish that you could have spent coding, listening to the Liquid Weekly podcast. And thanks so much for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you hopefully in person this summer. And for the rest
Definitely.
of you, if you're not at Toronto, we'll see you around somewheres. And in the meantime, happy hacking.